the limited amount of resources that a boxer has, the fewest things you can do, and the other guy has those very same few skills. And so that's how I see the science of it, the chess match, the game of millimeters, really, in split seconds. Because both guys are proficient, and they only have these finite amount of tools to work with. The combination of those two things colliding is what really fascinates me about the execution of boxing.
That's what fascinates me as well. It's specialists. People that are doing, like, that's what fascinates me about watching jiu-jitsu matches, too. Because of watching jiu-jitsu matches, those are two experts. They're not kicking each other, punching each other. They're just doing this one thing at the highest level possible.
Right.
Yeah. Did you see, I'm sure you saw Shakur Stevenson.
Of course.
Holy shit.
Of course. This guy's a
He's
beast.
on another level. That's a great example of that. Because he's fighting Valdez, who is undefeated as well, and a real fucking world champion, elite fighter.
Absolutely.
And Shakur just put on a show.
Right.
And just show that with his training, his execution, his technique was superior. His strategy was superior. His ability to close the distance and move just out of the way. When the punches were coming to him, they were coming like right here. It was like, it was just touching his face.
Right.
It was wild.
Millimeters.
Millimeters. And then he fired back. And he was firing back and landing flush. And it was genius. It was just genius shit to watch. That's what I love about boxing. I mean, people say, yeah, you can't do that if somebody leg kicks you. You're right. You can't do that way if someone leg kicks you or if someone takes you down. You're right. You can't do that. But if you want to see the highest expression of that, of using your hands, you have to have only guys using their hands. And that's when you get these super elite striker.
Right, but that's like somebody saying, I'm on a motorcycle and I'm running an obstacle course. You can't do that in a car.
Right.
Well, no, because I'm on a fucking motorcycle. That's why I can do that.
But that's why people would not recommend boxing as a martial art to practice if you're drunk after a bar and you're going into, like, I would tell you, like, learn how to take people down. Learn how to trip people.
Listen, Joe, you're not going to get an argument from me there. As far as, like, Street Fighter, the more things you can have at your disposal to end the fight as quick as possible, the better you're going to do.
It's also your hands break so easy. Hands break so easy, man. You swing wrong and catch a guy on the forehead and you're fucked.
Right. I mean, I'm not shy about, I wouldn't want to fight a mixed martial artist at the level of a boxer that I am, however good I am. If there were a guy equally as good at mixed martial arts as I am at boxing in a street fight, he's going to win. I mean, you know what I mean? I would, if we're only left with our body resources, I might pick up a bottle. I might hit this guy with a brick. But I understand that the more, you're able to do, the more quickly you can end a fight. And in the street, that's what it's all about. End the fight as quickly as possible.
But what we're both talking about is that if you are only doing one thing, that one thing, if you see, like, imagine if that's how they played baseball. If baseball also featured tackling, baseball also has fights now. Baseball also, you have to do it on skates. Like, what? Like, it's too many things. You're going to lose if you have one thing, just one thing like boxing, you get to see the best expression of it. One thing like jiu-jitsu, you get to see the best expression of it.
Right.
And, like, that was one of the reasons why, Jordan Burroughs is?
No.
Olympic gold medalist, elite, super, super elite wrestler, like top of the food chain, and had been given some opportunities to fight mixed martial arts. But he's like, look, I'm an elite wrestler. That's what I do. I can learn all those things, and he'd take any, regular MMA player down at will. Right? He's that good at wrestling. But would he want to leave this thing that he specializes in, that he's at the top of the food chain at?
Right, and could he actually get to the point of taking them down? For instance, the MMA guy that I'm, theoretically fighting at this bar, well, he's going to have to get through the jab. He's going to have to get through the, the two-piece. If he gets inside, I'm probably in a lot of trouble. But the finite nature of the sport, if we're, in the context of professional athletes in their sports, that's what I love about boxing. I appreciate in the street, it's a mixed martial art like landscape.
Well, the reality is, like, when people are talking about like boxers, MMA fighters making the crossover to boxing, there's no one can compete. There's not one MMA fighter who is going to be a world champion at boxing unless
Absolutely not.
they 100% dedicate all of their time to it for a long period of time. And then you're going to have to make your way. But to be able to beat the elite of the elite in their own given sport, unless you're some rare outlier, freak of an athlete with one punch death power with fucking 8-ounce, 10-ounce gloves on, there's not a lot of those guys.
I don't see that ever happening. I mean, even if we had a Bo Jackson of MMA,
that would be a good example. That would be a good example. A Bo Jackson, a freak, super freak athlete.
Yes, and he was that.
Herschel Walker.
In both cases, though, there is a team surrounding him that could put him in the best role in that team sport. But because each MMA and boxing are such individual sports, the amount of skill he would have to have in each context, I just don't think one man could get the way you stretch, the way your muscles have to work and contract in boxing and then in MMA, and it's not the same.
You
can't have
Stance
all
is
of
different.
those. Yeah,
Lots different. Defense is different.
Yeah, for a guy that would, and people sometimes take for granted how smart fighters have to be. I'm not talking about your mathematician skills or how well versed you are in history, but I don't know any fighter that at an elite level that isn't fucking brilliant in the ring or
100%,
in the octagon.
100%.
And so
you're using your mind to make choices and decisions and react.
Exactly.
If people think that the only information or the only intelligence that's worthwhile is intelligence so you can recite information, that's crazy. That's not true.
It's absurd is what it is.
Yeah.
And so to diminish the idea that these fighters are intelligent is a huge insult, and probably means you're not that fucking smart.
Well, it's just a lack of objectivity because too many people equate intelligence with education. It's not